everybody. Something I've noticed recently as I've been testing out a lot of these different holiday palettes. You hear that thunder out there? Maybe you don't. It's been kind of a stormy morning here. But like I was saying, something I have noticed about a lot of these holiday gift sets is that in the midst of all the eyeshadow palettes, there are quite a few little like glowy highlight sets that have come out. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about them all in one video, sort of rank them for you, tell you what I like about them and what I don't like about them, because while I have some things that I could absolutely 100% recommend to you in this video, I've got some things that I think need some kind of warning label on them too. Overall, looks like I've got 4 things to talk about that are kind of brand new here on my channel. One other thing I'll mention at the end of my lineup that I know I've talked about a couple times already, but I just want to, you know, keep in this conversation because it is a similar product to a couple of the other things. But I'm gonna go from least favorite to most favorite as I describe these to you. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about, my least favorite, is the Urban Decay Naked Illuminated Trio. It's a cute little box, nice little cardboard box style packaging here with a big mirror inside. There's a great little double-ended brush there, but I'm here to say that is where the love story ends for me. This is a great little brush, seriously. It's a good size, I think, for highlights that work. Problem with me with these highlights is that they just don't really work for me. They are that domed kind of baked style. Can you see how they sort of protrude from the packaging a little bit? And at a glance, like, I could see how maybe if you saw this online, you could be kind of misled or kind of wondering what's the texture like, because this is all about texture for me. This was sent to me from Urban Decay as a PR sample, but if I was actually thinking about buying this and I swatched it in the store, I would know immediately, I think, that it's not something I'd want to get, because these are like rock hard powders. You know, they feel very hard, but what you actually get from them is the lightest, flakiest texture. This pyrite shade is probably the best. It hangs together the best. If you see it in a swatch, it looks the most like metallic. You see the least amount of glitter sprinkled in. But then you got like this shade in the center called Oasis, sort of a zebra stripe looking color. And this is just so hard to like concentrate it on your cheeks and get an effect from it because it's so glittery. I mean, this is just glittery, flaky fallout everywhere. It's so dry, it does not adhere. The shade called Twilight, which looks sort of peachy. It's got a lot of sparkle in it as well. Very light and loose. And it's interesting because they feel so hard to the touch because they're just these dome baked dry powders. And when you get the powder actually transferred off, either on your finger, onto a brush, it feels just so light and kind of like dusted it right away. But I just don't think it's a good texture. It's not good when you want like pinpointed highlight. It's hard to really see it. And when you can detect where it is, it's like, oh, I just see the flecks of glitter. The one shade that's the least bad in the trio is kind of like the darkest color and maybe not a shade I would be prone to actually highlighting with on my skin. Might look great on a deeper skin tone, but it doesn't do as much from a highlighting, catch the light perspective on me. So bottom line, I don't think this is worth the $36 price tag. I feel like I've got a lot better things to talk about as we go along here, so you'll see. Next one is the Stila Starlight Star Bright palette. So this is again another trio. It does not include a brush. It is $39, so just a few bucks more expensive than the Urban Decay. And this is one that I ordered online. Really did not know what I'd be getting into texture-wise. While they do look kind of domed up, I would say they're kind of like a cream powder hybrid type product. They remind me a little bit of like touching a ColourPop highlight or blush because there's some give to it. Or like a Maybelline Dream Bouncy blush might be an even more similar format and texture because it's kind of domed up and you can sort of sponge into it a bit. But it doesn't feel like an all-out dewy, wet feeling cream, you know? So the 3 shades here are Transcendence, Kitten, and Bronze. And the issue I've had with this so far is just feeling like I'm really picking up a good amount of product on my brush to apply to the skin. There is one shade though that I feel like can give me an absolute like wet looking highlight on the skin. And I was wearing this in a recent video and I really felt like it caught the light a lot. I didn't even notice it so much as I was facing my makeup mirror, which is maybe a little bit softer lighting, and then I get in front of here and any kind of glow really seems to pop if it's there. And this shade popped a lot, the kitten color. So I like that one. I wasn't so much a fan of the other two. This Transcendence shade is one of those pretty like lilac tinged highlights, and those can be like beyond brightening. I've got a couple of powders. I think there's one in the NYX Strobe of Genius palette that is like this lilac light powder, and it's like it goes beyond what even white highlights do because it's next level brightening. It's got that coolness in it. And this one just never translated quite as vibrantly as I want it. Vibrantly, is that a word? It didn't show up as much as I wanted it to on my cheeks. So the kitten was good. And then the bronze shade, maybe just for the fact that it's not as light, it didn't seem to have that same kind of pop like the kitten one does. It never really seemed to have that light catching ability, and it might be different on a different skin tone. So I feel like I came away from this palette really only liking one out of the three. ColourPop makes some really good highlights that are super similar to this texture. So I think you could get one of those if you just wanted to experience this borderline, like, is it cream? Is it got a little powder in there? What exactly is it? Those transfer really nicely onto the skin. Any of the ColourPop highlights that I've had have been pretty intense, actually. Another thing that just sort of falls right in the middle for me, and it is actually right in the middle of my discussion in this video, is the Smashbox LA Lights To Go Blendable Lip and Cheek Color Set. So in here, you're getting these 4 color sticks. 2 are like creamy blush type colors. Those are the 2 in the center here. One is a glowy highlight and one is a bronzy shade. This is the size we're talking about. They're like a chubby stick, but they're not super duper wide. But the thing to know about these, I think, is texture. These are a creamy texture and they don't go cream to powder. And as you look at all of the colors swatched out and you see the light that they catch as I turn my hand, you can see that there's kind of an emollient quality to these sticks. That can be great from the lip perspective, because these do say lip and cheek, but from the cheek perspective, for me, I think it always makes them a little bit harder to blend on your cheeks because they just pull and tug a bit more. It's not that they're not smooth and they're not creamy, I'm not saying that, but anytime a cream blush goes a little bit cream to powder and has that bit of a dry down, it makes the blending so much more effortless. And I don't like to work too hard on blending out a cream blush because then I feel like I'm kind of interfering and messing with the foundations and powders I've got underneath all that, right? So I've got a really good method that makes it about as easy as it can possibly be to apply cream blush, and that is the e.l.f. Small Stipple Brush that I've talked about a lot. It's a really great way to shear out different products like this and feel like you're taking a lot of pressure off of your cheeks. But even when I used this, I was feeling my cheeks and I thought, gosh, they feel tacky. Even touching them right now, you know, they have this sort of stickiness a little bit to them. And I didn't even apply that much product. A really dry skin person might not mind the sound of that, but if you're very oily, I think that can be a big staying power concern. But here's what I did. I used a couple of these today. I did not use the Hollywood and highlight stick, although this is a pretty shade. I have other highlights that I want to show you in a second. I also did not use the Venice Beach Bronze, which I think in reality I would probably not so much think of this as an all over the face type bronzer. I think it would just be difficult to blend in everywhere, but I have worn it like a blush and it's a little bit prettier just on the cheeks. But what I chose to use as my blush today is this most pinky shade called Beverly Hills Blush, and I just swept my small stipple brush across this stick. If you wanted to dot the stick directly on your cheek, you could, but again, I think it's a little harder to blend out that way. So I just used my stipple brush and I kind of buffed it lightly on top of the skin. There's maybe just the slightest bit of a satin finish to it, but I think it's got good color payoff. It's just the feel of it afterward bugs me just a bit. And then I wanted to show you from the lip perspective, I used the shade called Silver Lake Sunset, and this one, again, a little bit of a satiny finish, more of a peachy nude type color. It's pretty on the cheeks as well. It probably wouldn't show too much on deeper skin, but on the lips, it's just like a pretty nude peach lipstick. And so that's what I've had on my lips all haul video long, and it's just, that really tells the tale. If this kind of a product is going to apply and feel creamy and practically like a lip balm on your lips, then it's gonna have maybe a little thick stickiness as you try to use it on the cheeks. Definitely not the easiest thing to use from a cream blush perspective. Not out and out bad products. Not something I'm shouting from the rooftops like, everybody needs to try this, it's so great. It's not really that great. Okay, can we talk about something really good already? Love this set. This is a $20 set. This is the least expensive thing I'm going to mention in this video. It's the Becca Glow on the Go Shimmering Skin Perfector Moonstone set. And I was excited to get this because I didn't think I had Moonstone. Turns out I had the Moonstone highlight, as the powder one, as part of that little, what was it called? The Afterglow palette. Had to actually pull it out to remember it. Moonstone was in that little palette from last year, just FYI. But I did not have the Shimmering Skin Perfector Liquid Spotlight here, and I love that. You guys know I've talked a lot about enjoying the Shimmering Skin Perfector liquids because I think they're the most like subtle, undetectable, beautiful looking highlights, and it was fun to try a new shade in that. And I think Moonstone would be really universally usable for people because it's not too dark. I think fair skin could wear this and get an impact out of it, and deeper skin tones could get a really pretty shine on their faces as well. And you are getting small sizes of these, you know, they're not huge, but these little things have lasted me a long time, these little Skin Perfector spotlights, because you don't have to use a lot of product. And I frankly prefer this format over their big full-size pumps because I can control the amount of product I'm doling out a little bit easier. So I just swipe a little bit of this on my hand. I've cleaned off my e.l.f. small stipple brush, pick up some of that, and then just start dabbing it right on top of the cheeks. Now this product is going on so nice and thin, and even if I really put a lot on, it doesn't tend to maintain any sort of sticky feel on my skin. This can be the final step. You wouldn't need to set it with anything. Because we're going big in this video and I really want to show you as much as possible, here is the powder version of this highlight. I think it's so cool that you get both textures to play with here. And I used my Up and Up highlight brush, which I think is just a perfect size for hitting the top of the cheeks, and picked up some of this really soft, pearly, hint of a buttery glow in this shade. I just, you know, went across the top of the cheeks and it was like the angels sang. You know, it was a really pretty effect there. These products are tremendous. I think you could give them to anyone of any skin tone. They're easy to use. If you needed to blend this out with your fingers, you could. It's not a hard to blend product. I just love how this small stipple brush just doles out like the right amount across my skin. It never feels like it's laying anything on too thick. And the last little thing I want to give mention to that I also feel very strongly about, but I have talked about it recently and used it in a video earlier this week on Wednesday where I showed the new hair, and then I also did my foundation and concealer routine. I went on and I applied this Je ne sais quoi palette from IT Cosmetics. Definitely one of the best face-related products of this holiday season that's come out. You get the blush. It's the Bye Bye Pores blush, the Bye Bye Pores pressed translucent powder, perfect lighting, oops, right here, perfect lighting luminizer in Je ne sais quoi, and sunshine in a compact bronzer. These are things that are available individually, and you've got them all in this palette, generous sizes. The highlight in here is really fantastic, by the way. It's got a lot of glow, but no glitter. It's a nice kind of creamy feeling highlight. Even as you rub it between your fingers, it's not one of those like, oh, it just dusted away into the air. You know, it really hangs on. Very universal pink blush there. I enjoy the bronzer. This is so good. This Bye Bye Pores Press, you guys told me it was good. It is. It's a great little mattifying powder or an under the eye powder, just kind of all-purpose powder. Great big mirror in there. Awesome for travel. So I would highly recommend that. But for the demo on this, please check back to that other video. So that is my take on some of these glowy kits that have come out this holiday season. Some rather big losers, but a couple of big winners too. Love the Becca set, love the IT Cosmetics. Thank you guys so much for watching, and many of you requested this video because you've seen, just like I have, all these highlight sets that have come out. And I think there's more even beyond what I've talked about here. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will see you soon. Bye.